EB doesn't care if I'm getting a PhD. It doesn't care that I'd like to get married and have babies of my own. And where honestly I previously felt like I could manage it, it seeks to destroy me completely, and sometimes I worry it will succeed. I was born with no skin on my right hand in Austin, Texas, 27 years ago, and diagnosed with EB. My mom was told that all she could do for me was take me home, wait for me to die, and pray. Bandage changes were so painful whenever I was little that my two older siblings would have to go into the back garden because you could hear me screaming from every room in our house. I could tell you about the crippling social and mental side effects of this, the friends who I have who have passed away, and how every surgery actually gets worse for me. And lately, I often fall asleep in the OR with my body just racking in sobs because I know that whenever I wake up, it's not going to be over. Sometimes I honestly fear I'm not strong enough to wait for treatments anymore either. There is no treatment, there is no drug, there is nothing for the horror that I just described to you. I have tried my very best to give you a small glimpse, to humble myself before all of you so that you may understand why I cannot do this for the rest of my life and why I need your help now. We all need your help, but for the first time in my 27 years, I have actually become afraid. I'm too young to be this afraid, but I am. But what does give me strength is the knowledge that it doesn't have to be this way. I do not believe in false hope. I really don't. I think it's a very dangerous thing. But what I do believe in is the truth. And for the first time in my entire life, I am seeing the possibilities of a future where there is less pain for us. There's less anguish, less of the things I just described to you. And that is the truth. And I very, very much hope you will help us to get there.
Pain. Pain is horrendous. Fatigue. You really don't know what fatigue is unless you have a condition like EB. Itch, wound healing, all of these things are symptoms which we can do something about. And this DEBRA appeal is directly targeting research and clinical care around those symptoms to improve life today. 37 years later, I'm still working on EB, and we've made great strides in terms of diagnosis, genes, prenatal testing, some early testing of novel therapies. But as has been pointed out, now is a time for a £20 million appeal, because there's really a lot of progress that we can make, and make that soon. Drug repurposing is going to bring benefits for people if we can just write those prescriptions and get the work done. I was the first DEBRA Clinical Research Fellow. DEBRA invested in me, and I hope, Tony, that over the last 37 years, I've managed to give something back to DEBRA and the community as well. But investing in people is so important, and that's what part of this appeal is. Support clinical research fellows, support scientists involved in translational research, speed things up and get the next generation running. So that's really very important. The appeal also covers support and care, and you know, that's really very important too. So whilst scientists like me are trying to develop these new treatments, we need support and care for people living with EB. Please support it, and let's try and make a difference, change lives today, and give people like Lucy and many others a better tomorrow.
You know, this is a fight. I like being in a fight, by the way. I really do. And I feel we've got a strong team, and I think we can rely on each other, and I think we've made strides. I think in a very short period of time, I can see us moving in the right direction. You know, we're in a fight that we must win. We must bring relief long term and on a daily basis to the poor sufferers. And of course, you know, the thing to overlook very easily is the families of the sufferers, because what it does to families, it's beyond my capability to put it into words. But you know, it makes you realise how lucky we all are. And we who've taken this challenge on to make a difference to the sufferers with EB and their families is enormous. And it's not easy. It's going to be a long, dirty fight. And we have to get dirty. We have to embarrass people. We have to keep knocking on doors. We have to keep putting DEBRA out there. We have to make people realise this horrendous condition exists. And that's part of my challenge You know, we're going to bring awareness. We're going to raise money. We're hoping to raise 20 million quid so we can do more repurposing. And that is the only way forward. And that gives me great hope. But enough's never enough. And that's a simple fact. The fight we're in, enough money will never be enough. Enough help will never be enough. We have ultimately got to find a cure for this. But in the meantime, in the short term, we've got to find relief for these children and stick with us. Let's roll our sleeves up and get stuck into